As Trundle LeBlanc is the illusion. What's on
Echo, forehead, Echo.
I don't know why they're thinking so long.
Well, Maokai's up 2.
Yeah.
So that's the good thing here.
Good, great.
That's
Enjoy your bad matchup.
Yeah, but Echo beats Maokai, so...
Yes, Echo does beat Maokai, but Maokai can be more relevant in a team fight.
True.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that while every champ loses to Echo, at least Maokai has something going for him.
He loses a little bit less. Well, we'll see what happens here, because the obvious first pick is the Echo.
I like this move. Ban the Lucian, take the Sivir. Probably going to play something like the Kalista, but Kalista is very bad in the 2v1 after Dumbledore's roams. So yeah, like Lucio said, I think probably an Ezreal. Well, and the Graves again.
That's sort of been his default,
which
but
is,
yeah.
Graves
again.
Oh, okay. So they are banning Trundle every time.
Yeah, that's actually the third Trundle ban. They did ban it in game 1. We did go back and check.
Yeah.
And they ban Anivia every game as well, I believe.
I think these 3 bans are fine. They've got the 2 target bans. I think maybe, like, I still think that you could drop the Rise. Like, until we see it, I don't think there's any reason to be super scared. Maybe Naru doesn't play it, and that's why they're banning it. But I think as these games go on, I think if SuperMassive lose this game, I think the Rise ban could get dropped.
Is Kira going to play Vlad again? He did play Vlad against Lissandra and played it quite successfully.
Ooh, Maokai, Tom Kench actually. So Bard's still open. Liquor has not gone to it at all. And the Doja's played it 2 games in a row. Will likely be different, given that the current picks at us. Given that there's Poppy and Echo in one game, so it will have to be actually.
I think he's definitely going to pick the Vladimir. We're seeing the double threat comp from the Supermassive. If he does pick the Gragas.
I think he should go Kindred here.
Yeah, I think he should go Kindred.
Line with Poppy, Echo, Liss.
They pick Gragas.
Yeah, so they're going 2 threats here with an Ezreal, so that like Liss Ezreal, not the highest damage. Maybe they're just counting on this Echo to split push to victory and then TP in with a bat and just pop them all in the head, which, let's be honest, is probably going to happen. And yeah, he does lock in the Vlad.
The Prophet, Lucio, he knows.
Nice one.
That is the Vlad. I mean, but this time the pick seems much better, right? Because before it was like, I'm out of mid laners, what do I do?
Yeah.
What's good about the pick here? Because we've seen him play already in the matchup, like you mentioned.
Maokai has the CC, and it actually helps the Vladimir to do damage instead of making sure that Liquid does crazy...
Has to do the Mad Life outplay.
Yeah.
This time around, they have some CC with them. They have the Tarm. They have the Maokai. Again, Sivir ult. I'm really liking this Sivir Vlad combo, actually. It reminds me, it's kind of like a poor man's Sivir Rise.
It is.
Where the Rise is banned, but you still have this hard scaling champ who does so much damage and is tanky with Spell Vamp. Rise also has Spell Vamp, so I'm actually quite liking that combo.
Well, we'll have to see how it works out this game, because we are going to get ourselves onto Summoner's Rift in just a short while. Let's throw ourselves back over to the casting desk.
Cheers, guys, and yeah, welcome back to the cast desk once again. Another draft coming out here, and once again, leaving up the Echo, but this time giving it over to Falcon as well. What do you guys think about actually leaving that pick open?
Can't leave open Echo. I think it's pretty simple to say, right? Like, it's a pretty good champion, and whilst I agree with the desk in saying that Maokai can do better than other champions do against Echo, the point remains that Echo still wins it. It's just that Maokai's better at diffusing it, which is not really a winning factor. I do, however, like that the Vladimir is with an Echo, but I'm still more concerned that a Tahm Kench is with the Vladimir, because Licorice can't engage for him this time around.
Yeah, it's like a slightly better Band-Aid, right? Maokai in the top lane is still not good. But yeah, seeing Vlad come out here more by choice than the last game, because before it was just like, well, I have to play Vlad because all these bans have come out. Anyway, we're getting into this game. This will be the 3rd one of this best of 5 in the Wildcard tournament. Winner of this goes to MSI. So a lot on the line for these 2 teams. As Paige was saying, we're now in basically a best of 3 with SuperMassive and Hard Random. And we're going to have the line of scrimmage. Actually kind of rare nowadays. Don't really see that anymore.
We've been seeing a lot of blind lane swaps, and I talked to Carbon and Soul Strikes about this earlier. And the thing about the blind lane swap versus the level 1 is when you look for level 1 deep wards and a level 1 invade, you're pretty much guaranteeing that a lane swap is happening, where the lane swap isn't necessarily the most important thing right now. It's setting behind the enemy jungler. So we think about, they go into a blind lane swap, chances are that the jungle duo will try to cheekily start their weak side of the map and jungle very quickly, where the support drops down, figures out where they are, and just causes a bunch of havoc. And that's what's more important to teams, is slowing down that jungler and gathering that information rather than guaranteeing the lane swap.
It's still weird to me that the teams that want standard lanes, like, whilst teams are blind lane swapping, I can perfectly understand that. Like, so be it. Like, you want the lane swap. You don't want to reveal that you're lane swapping. What about the teams that don't want lane swaps, that aren't actually placing deep vision to avoid it? That's the confusing thing to me.
I think at that point it's just really the timer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also these teams as well, because we've
here
seen
he
so
goes.
few invades
weren't we just
from
talking
whole
about
teams,
this?
but from the supports, especially when you have Liquid. Oh, that's dirty! Liquid, he's running away with the wolf and throws it out. It was smited away. But yeah, if that was a little bit lower, I think the nom down would have just finished it off.
So the first time we saw Liquor play Tom Kenshi actually took the big wolf. So no surprises to see him do it again, but the next 2 times that he's done it, unsuccessful.
All right, well,
Good strategy though.
yeah, it is. It's really fun to
At least
see.
he's consistent.
This is like walks away with it, and it's just like the jungler has to follow
And
after.
this is mine.
Yeah, this is mine now. Oh, you made this? I made this. Stay Huss, get out of that jungle. And I think we should just get this tower trade here, guys. So not too much to talk about unless there's a big momentum advantage, but I don't really see that happening. Mid lane as well, though. Kira up against Naru. We'll see how this laning phase goes for him, because Naru absolutely bodied him in the laning phase with Lulu, but Licorice made all those plays for him. This time it's more about Kira. He has to be in a good position so Licorice can support him with Tam Kench and eat him, because he can't make the same plays he was with the Thresh and landing the sick death sentences in this game to bail him out.
Big issue is also that we're in a lane swap, so it will be an isolated matchup. We do see that typically in lane swaps, junglers kind of respond to their side lanes and are more about assisting side lanes than focusing attention on that mid lane. So unfortunately, Kira, you're on your own.
Yep. And even though we know these supports like to roam a lot, especially in those lane swaps, I mean, what's Tam Kench really going to do? He can like counter gank against Dumbledore just randomly appearing in your lane, I guess. That is something you always have to be aware of. Oh, speaking of which, hello Dumbledore, what are you doing in mid lane? Level 2 means he has E and Q.
I think he's just protecting and shadowing underneath Naru, because Naru is so far forward trying to reset that lane, making sure that Stay Host doesn't come up behind him, especially as the backs come in. You saw that a lot of hard random, I'm just thinking about the other team, a lot of hard random disappeared into Fog of War, so Dumbledoge's just playing some defense.
But this is just the Dumbledoge watch right now. We're just following him, seeing what he does.
Dumbledoge cam?
Dumbledoge cam, yeah, it's the activities of Dumbledoge. He literally, I think he just walked from bottom lane all the way up to top lane through the river, so he's going on an adventure. Seeing if he can get a gank off and find some minions, meet some new friends, of course, and he's now level 3, so that's great.
It makes sense. He's not playing Bard, but the magical journey is still very much in his heart.
With him, yeah. I like it a lot. Well, Naru, he's pushing up in this lane, and he's got the CS advanced already. Licorice now coming in, though. He is level 2. This is the TP coming in from Kira. And it gets the swallow off, so throws him back into Kira. And this is a lot of damage on Naru. He'll flash away. The TP is actually coming in from Falcon, which is going to be cancelled. That was so innocuous. He just like walks over. It's like, lick, lick. Oh, you're mine now.
The casual stroll in Chomp?
Yeah. I mean, that should not have happened.
Oh
what
my
is
God.
this? Stonemage is not worth it to
You're
go for
dead.
that. And Sejos will just flash after. He didn't actually flash behind the tower. Liquid is just going to eat up his jungler, throw him back to safety. What is even going on in this mid lane?
Stonemage not communicating with his team. Naru had just gotten bullied out of that mid lane, so why would you continue to farm Raptor Camp? A, seeing that hard random have disappeared around the corner, and knowing that you don't have your mid laner for assistance there.
Yeah.
And the other thing in a micro sense there is just flash behind your tower. There's nothing that Graves can do if there's a tower in the way. He can't Q, you can't auto attack you. He's not level 6, there's no collateral damage. He would have survived if he just flashed behind the tower.
So he's a Graves player.
And he's a Graves player, exactly. Makes me sad.
Yeah, it is a little bit saddening. Hard random though, proactive play. We've seen both supports go near that middle lane, but this time around, when Licorice gets there, he just manages with the Vladimir using teleport to make it successful. Very weird. Honestly, I'm just a little bit confused.
Yeah, I think we all are, Rusty. Don't worry about it. Well, Smurf is going to clear out this bottom lane tower. Goes over to him. Gets the gold as well. Very nice.
Good news is that they've continued to trade objectives, so both towers are down for either team. It's a Rift Herald versus a Dragon trade, so even though they gave up the first blood, maybe some questionable micro play, they have stayed even at least across map on objectives.
Very true. And speaking of blades, I'm talking about on the analyst desk, and Carbon had his long rant about Graves builds and
all of these long swords.
All of these long swords. I don't know what it's going to build into this game, and we'll see what Sedhos decides to go in this one. He's only got the machete, so he could go any way.
Wait, here we go.
What's it going to be? All right, I think it's going to be 2 long swords and no Hunter's Potion.
That is a lot of items.
Right into the warrior enchant and the trackers from 1 back at 6 minutes 30.
That's a lot of item.
There's a lot of item. That's a lot of gold he went back with. But
Yeah.
with that 1 kill, I can see where it all came from. That's
Had a
actually hilarious.
machete.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, have a warrior enchanted upgraded item.
I just have this imagery of just
What is
walking up to
that?
the shopkeeper and just like throws the gold on his desk, like, give me that. Well, he's going to be hitting like a truck now as soon as he finds Stone Mage in the jungle.
But I feel like he just rocked up with the bell-bottom jeans and left the boots with the fur.
Yeah.
He's super slow. And speaking of slow, bye tree.
He tried to use the Twist Advance to
Nice
do
flash.
something
He's
a
got
little spicy, and he gets out, uses the flash as well. So well played by Smurf in a very dicey situation. Falcon wasn't quite in range there to punish with his team.
Yeah, but that's the risk, once again, that Smurf is going to be running on this Maokai. He's not into a favorable matchup because he's outmatched by numbers, but also committing here on SuperMassive towards his bottom lane with the Rift Herald. So actually completely out of position by even being in this bottom lane.
And it's not really just Smurf either. It's Hard Random as a whole. You know, seeing that the Rift Herald was coming down into that lane and the fact that Tom Kinch was so delayed on the back. In fact, he's actually canceled the back, so they're trying to make something happen for this. So we just talk about how one team was out of position for the tower. Well, it's okay. It was countered.
But, I'm
Kira's
going to
in
talk about
trouble.
mid lane. He's going to flash away in the pool, and Double Doge is going to flash after you. When you have no pool, and Naru will follow after. You've always got to be aware of the random Double Doge appearing in mid lane.
The Doge strikes. Excellent heroic charge right there to get involved. So he takes the tower, immediately rushes over to the mid lane. Thanks, mate.
I
Doge
can't
Ganku.
stress enough how obvious that was, though.
Yeah.
Because they didn't push in bottom lane. They gave Smurf the option of freezing instead of pushing it to the turret. The second they saw Tom Kench, they should have committed. Where'd they go? Mid.
Oh, here comes Falcon, and Dumbledore goes in as well. The second Dumbledore goes down and picks up the kill. 1 and 0. Oh, Liquid from nowhere. The flash, the lick, the kill. Smurf now coming out here. Miracle's going to be following after. And Hard Random just kind of appear from nowhere out of the woodwork and kill everyone.
They're effectively the exact same plays on either side of the board. So you have 2 deep towers taken on the side lanes. Everyone drops down to Fog of War. They appear into the mid lane. The mid-tier tower has already gone down for a Hard Random, but they may get the response on SuperMassive.
And never will I see the day that Tam Kench is leading the charge, picking up the kill onto Double Doge. There's the grey health coming out, and Falcon trying to pick up this kill onto Licorice, but there's the heal out as well. Achu following up onto Smurf and Kira, but they're too healthy to kill. Licorice is just gonna waddle away, and he's good to go. Another kill onto Double Doge. I just don't understand how Licorice is making these aggressive plays as Tam Kench.
Casually strolling in and doing so.
Yeah. I
'Cause he
just don't
waddles.
get it.
He's got a big belly. It's very efficient play from Liquor. He's hitting the right target at the right time with every single spell that is important. And honestly, it's just good work from Hard Random. It's a weird thing to see, but you can spit out the enemy person onto a Vladimir combo. And I still don't call that a combo. And I'm going to blatantly refuse to call that a combo, but they are comboing it
Let's call it
together.
a string, at least.
Yeah, they're stringing the spells.
Sehos off from the side, just clearing out the minion wave. What they do have is a lot of wave clear if they can get in range. Vladimir is not a long-range wave clearer, but Graves has a little bit. Sivir, once again on that composition, is really, really nice to clear out these waves.
The thing about having Ezreal as their AD carry in comparison, or not comparison, but in tandem with Lissandra and Gragas, is that SuperMassive have a lot of dive threat potential. You know, the threat of the cask is, hello,
Oh, hey.
this is ours.
This is, yeah, get out of here, Stone Mage. You don't want
is-
to be here anymore.
You made
Not
this?
again.
I made this.
Yeah, please not again. Licorice was literally going to just walk up to him and eat him. It was like, this. He can't keep getting away with this.
But unfortunately, but unfortunately for Supermassive, they don't have the siege potential to back up their dive threat. So Lissandra and Gragas can position to zone people back, you know, throwing the glacial path, threatening with the cast. But Ezreal's like, I can speed everyone up, but I'm still just an Ezreal comparatively to like a Sivir.
Let's also remember how far ahead Steos is as well. Like, he has been the warrior enchant for quite some time. He's gone for his boots. Like, he is leaps and bounds ahead of Stone Mage, and there is no way the Gragas can contest 1v1, let alone Tom Kench aiding the rotations with his ultimate.
Miracle heading up to the top lane now as well. And that's actually a really good point, yeah. Aiding those rotations with the ultimate. And often it is like one person who needs to travel with the Tam Kench to get to an area. So have been doing very well with that so far.
And here's a reminder that Hard Random have actually run this composition similarly. I called it a global comp when we saw it in the group stage. I believe that they also ran it in the tiebreaker. And they use it to compensate They don't have the cleanest macro rotations or map movements. Is
He could be dead.
hello, Kira?
Banana. Oof.
That was, wow.
Yeah.
Good blue suede shoes, nice dancing there. But they use semi-global ultimates like the Tom Kinch ultimate, like the On the Hunt, like the double teleport to compensate for their lackluster macro rotations.
Valorant is pushing up in the bottom lane. Smurf seeing an opportunity to go back in. Not sure if this is a good opportunity. Okay, he walks out of the parallel convergence. Would have been punished harder there, but is just this brick wall in this bottom lane. Just the fact that Valorant is able to push up to an inhib tower at 12 minutes into the game, and there's no one on that team who can really respond other than just letting Smurf stay in the 1v1 is a little concerning.
There's a lot of scaling concerns here. I will say, though, for SuperMassive, they're a very standard team fighting comp, and whilst the Echo will be annoying, I think if we ever get a Vladimir Maokai and a Sivir in the same area at the same time doing their damage, even the
30
Maokai
minutes.
will be doing damage at that point. That's the thing. Amplification from the Vladimir's ultimate, probably the most defining and important factor in this.
I definitely like this composition a lot more than the last game, even though they won anyway, because now you have Engage, you have the Maokai, and you have the Sivir, and then you have a Vladimir as well. So you actually have a good way to get into these fights, whereas before it was making sure the opponent makes a mistake and then being ready to punish, which they did, and they did very well. But now they can actually be aggressive when they're ahead, or be proactive in making those plays. So this is pretty good coming out from Hard Random. Mid lane, both the ADCs have migrated into the mid lane and are now farming away. Interesting enough, there's actually a big CS disparity and advantage over to Achu.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, too, is that the fact that the Dragon's up and neither team are looking to contest it. I think that's what the initial back for Hard Random is doing right now. They back, you see immediately their inventories fill up with pink wards, so they're like, hey guys, there's actually been an objective on the map alive for a little bit here.
Yeah.
Bet we could lure them.
I actually think that the CS discrepancy is a hilarious thing to me, right?
Yeah.
The only reason
Sivir.
Ezreal has a CS advantage is because you can queue minions from a distance, because both of these AD carries by design have supports that leave them. And then the abandonment makes last hitting very difficult, but Ezreal excels in that with the Q.
He's very good at dealing with abandonment. But Hard Random are already onto this dragon. Double wards over the wall, but Stomage is going to have to be him going in. Faldron as well jumps over the wall, gets the steal off, and Stayhost is going to put down the smoke screen. Going to be battered away by Dumbledoge, but everyone will just walk out. So nice play from the blue team. Stomage and the team. It was a team effort.
No, definitely
Echo came
Stomage.
in. Okay, all Stomage. But the Echo came in, parallel convergence, and Dumbledoge was there for moral support as well.
Good job, team.
Good job. Yeah. All brought it together. Achu now pushing down the mid lane, and maybe they can pick up a little bit more from this because the outer mid turret is up.
Big
but
thing also is
there
the
is
fact
a Sivir
that
there.
Flash and Cask are available from Stomaged. Like you said, Sivir does have the wave clear as well as the spell shield, so not super threatening there. In fact, Stomage is like, screw this,
Yeah.
He'll
Wolfcamp.
recall,
I'm
though.
out.
He actually wants to recall. He's just getting some extra gold in, you would imagine.
You would imagine. Calls are now being completed as well. I think 3 more CS on Miracle, and he will be cashing that one in. Already with those 2 kills, getting towards that Essence Reaver. And Licorice is now here. He is finally supporting his ADC. It's more like the ADC is being dragged along by the support in these games. Kira is going to be altered by Naru and turns around. There comes the E as well, follows up, but there's the Hemo Plague and a lot of healing coming out, breaking the vision by going into the bush, and there's the pink ward being expended. There's the banana coming up. Eat your fruit, Kira.
So that Ezreal ult was probably a big deal.
Stayhouse coming in. Naru, Sanguine Pool. No way he's getting out of this one. Dumbledoge wanted to assist, but not going to happen. Licorice and Miracle go up to the top lane. But now in mid lane, they're exposed.
Major chip damage right there. Smurf trying to be the last defense.
The clap. And he's cleared out the mini wave. Okay, so Smurf has been able to defend this. And all the rest of the team's coming in. The flash, the follow-up onto Achu. He'll have to jump up the wall with the flash and the arcane shift.
Just unfortunate there. Flashes, or excuse me, arcane shifts directly into a wall, forcing him to burn his flash.
Is it arcane shift? That sounds wrong. But Faldron's going in onto Miracle now. Taiwan lands. Smurf is there as well. The lick lands out from Licorice. Just needs 2 more and he can gobble up the Echo, but doesn't want to be eating that today. And clears out his mini wave. So 2-5 in total in this game. 2,000 gold advantage to Hard Random, only at the 16-minute mark. So definitely in very good shape. The towers are equal, but that will probably open up at some point in this game. Taking a look at items as well. Rod of Ages completed out by Naru. And probably looking towards the Abyssal next, I would assume, with that blasting one coming out.
God, I hope so.
I hope so too, Rusty. It's going to be a second Rod of Ages. And then Kira gone for the Woter, of course, so the selfish book coming through.
Honestly, Naru doesn't know what Vladimir does. Like, he doesn't know how to fight the Vladimir. I feel like that is a very obvious feature right now.
He doesn't know how to fight in between Vladimir's cooldowns.
Because, like, yeah, if you're not, like, thinking about cooldowns, just like Vladimir has everything up all the time.
But firstly, it's also a Lissandra versus Vladimir thing where the cooldowns are very similar on the Q. But if you're trading, one gives health back, they're doing about the same damage, you'll get out damaged. So Naru blows the ultimate early in the trade, puts down a lot of hurt onto Kira, but then just follows the claw up and walks into the Hemoplague combo anyway. And effectively, the trade was even. And if any trade goes even with a Vladimir, you lose the trade.
Yeah, Vladimir
and he's not respecting the damage that Vladimir does, and I feel like this will inevitably come back to bite all of Supermassive if they keep giving him Vladimir. If Hard Random win this game, I can genuinely see a ban on Vlad.
Maybe, because they've been banning away, what, the Anivia, they have to fear that from Kira. Going to be holding that fort because Kira has been called out, looking for a Sangami pool. There it is. Stay Hostage is there in range, flashes away. Not really sure if Kira's going to survive this one. Oh, Licrit's there, though, with the Devour, trying to put him to safety. Double Doge over the wall. There's no escape from Double Doge. Achu with the kill. Kira goes down. Miracle now following up. Boomerang Blade comes out, and Naru jumps into 3 people. He'll be dropping. That's another kill over to Supermassive. Licrit finds the eat on to Faldrin. Looking for the Time Winder, doesn't quite connect onto the Tam Kench. Everyone is so low and flashing up red, and Smurf can't quite get in range. Achu follows up onto him. Licrit with another great Devour. Knocks him back towards the inner tower. Achu, he's taking a lot of damage from this tower. One more, and looking for the sapling as well. Didn't quite connect. That was dicey for a second, but that was a 1 for 2 over to Supermassive and a tower.
Dumble Doge played that fight immaculately. So well. I mean, dodging out all of the skill shots, finding the heroic charge, flashing over the wall, did so much work. That said, Thaldrin on the back half, and big thing also was Smurf was delayed to the fight, so it was technically a 4v5 for a big portion of that. Thaldrin on the back half tanked for a really long time. Unfortunately, there just wasn't the health bars to really clean that fight up into a really oppressive ace for Supermassive, but huge props to Dumble Doge. That was just mechanic god right there.
Yeah, I'm just going to reiterate that fact as well. It was a 4v5 for the majority of that fight, and Kira was low when the fight started, and he wasted his pool early. And whilst it was played well by Dumble Doge, it was played well by all of Supermassive, and Sturmage just started off by picking off Kira. It's just, like, that was still too close for comfort, and you can't help but feel like if Smurf was there, it would have been the opposite direction and ace.
Yeah, I'm glad these games have been working out the way we kind of thought they would in terms of like the dynamics of the supports, because they really have been the ones that have been making those players, and it gives you validation as a caster. It's just like, this is how we thought it was going to go, and they really have been turning up for their teams. Dumbledore's been making the plays like in that last team fight, and Licrit, even as Tam Kench somehow still managed to engage. I don't understand how, but it's been really, really good to see.
What's also really interesting is how the champion pools have affected the solo lanes. We keep talking about, you know, Kira versus Naru, and perhaps even that Vladimir ban hitting the board, as well as the contention between Echo and Maokai. And typically when you have like your featured matchup of like mid laner versus mid laner, it's just about, you know, who's going to get the execution on that day, and not necessarily a champion pool issue, as here comes Licrit.
The boy who needs to get out of here really, really quickly. Stay Host is there, and Licrit lands the Tongue Lash. Stomage lands the Q as well. So good disengage. Rest of the team was there to back him up. I think everyone's going to be backing away. I see Achu in that jungle there, now rejoining his team. Dumble Jones was looking for a potential flank, a potential engage, but that was sniffed out and the ward goes over the wall.
Kira wants the teleport though for this dragon. They don't really have deep wards just yet, but definitely was looking. Actually concede.
Yeah, this dragon will be going over to Supermassive.
No, they don't concede.
Well, Smurf is the only one not conceding, and Dumbledore is zoning away by himself. Keeper's Verdict comes up, knocks 2 people away. Licrit and Miracle immediately have to make the decision to get away.
Wow.
Miracle, great ultimate from Stomage, will secure the ADC. That's a double kill towards the Tam Kench. Smurf is going in, and the Vladimir has entered the fight, picks up one, and trying to get in range just for more lifesteal, but they're being outranged and outspaced by Achu. There's no way he can get in range now, and the Thaldrin is also following after. They're so short range, they can't get on top of the Ezreal. He's still, look at the auto spacing, and the Q coming out, not quite enough kills. But that is another one, and this is so down to the wire. Thaldrin, he's going to go down. Kira in this 1 versus 2, he gets assassinated. Smurf now up against the Echo. He's being kited away. He's going to juke into the bush. The triple kill out for Faldrin.
So yes, it is Thalder that comes up with the triple in the end, but you said his name over and over the course of like Achu there with the Ezreal play. The fact that he knew that he had the flash, waiting for the twisted advance to create spacing on the Maokai, such a genius move for the outplay there to set his Echo up for success.
That was the Ezreal dream, whereas you have 3 people who can't get on top of you and you're just chasing them down.
But the confidence there, Arcane shifts forward, tags him with the auto attack, and he's like, I have the flash, Maokai, follow me, boy.
So well played by Achu in that fight. And kind of the unsung hero, I think, of that team, because Dumbledore, he goes off and makes the plays, he abandons his ADC, and Naru gets involved because of Dumbledore, and Stomage, strong player in his own right. Faldrin, always locked in those 1v1s, and we talk about him. But Achu, he turns up, and that was one of those times where he just made a highlight reel play.
It also felt really broken from Hard Random. It was not the confidence that we were expecting. I think they were honestly assuming that SuperMassive disengaged the dragon and then reactively went back in, as these two were still going at it.
Kira getting
I'm here.
by Faldrin.
I'm helping.
Yeah, Miracle just popping the ult there. Moral support, I guess.
Leashing the minions for top lane.
Yeah.
But that to me, like, so they've lost the game here, Hard Random, and they're now showing signs of not being together fully as a team. That's dangerous.
Kira just kind of wobbles back into the parallel convergence. Now a fight is opening up in the bottom side. Smurf's going to jump onto Stomage. Here comes a true shot barrage. 3 stacks onto Stomage, but Licorice finds Smurf instead. I don't think he was the person he really wanted to devour there. And now Sturgos, he was just kind of abandoned by the team, and he didn't realize that team was backing off. He survives longer than they should have.
Miracle,
but Achu
wow.
shoots down Miracle. He drops. That's a second kill. That's a triple kill out for Achu, and now he's getting rewarded for all those plays he's making. Smurf getting chased out, but he has so low mana. Dumbledore's there as well, and it's just a matter of who's going to pick up the kill. Achu is most likely going to find it. Nara, in fact, with the last hit, and that was a 4-for-0. And SuperMassive just destroyed Hard Random.
Naru denies the quadra kill there, but 6-1 and 6 on Achu. SuperMassive, like Rusty said, they're just working together brilliantly as a team, and their carries are stepping up. Carries that we didn't think would necessarily be the primary factor here, like Achu. Whereas Hard Random, they're just kind of falling apart at the seams.
Yeah, honestly, SuperMassive just looked great. Achu's overperforming, and Hard Random are not a team. There's no other way to explain it. This Baron was very easily taken, and there is no way that this Hard Random side can contest them right now, because they've got defensive tools. They don't really have offensive tools.
But isn't that bizarre, though? Because what they were talking about on the analysis is because, of course, Hard Random picked up the last game and SuperMassive picked up the first one, and generally you have, like, the momentum, but I haven't really seen SuperMassive, like, tilt in any way. If anything, like, Hard Random been making some really curious decisions in this game.
So Naru's the shot caller for the team, I believe. I think that's been historically accurate. He's not only on Lissandra, he played well in that second game, and that doesn't affect him because he knows he can beat Kira in laning phase. It means the shot calling's always going to be there. Live or die by your shot caller, right?
Well, if the game's going good for Naru, then going good for the team.
This is when things get scary for Hard Random fans, just because we know that when SuperMassive are ahead, they're so punishing about it. They've got the Baron now. They have their pick of the litter about which tower, which objective they're going to start to snowball. And even more importantly, Faldrin has the lane matchup advantage on pretty much everyone on the team. He's already killed Kira. Smurf can't really slow him down. This Echo's out of control, and they look to 4-1.
Yeah, that's something that has been kind of a criticism of Wildcard teams. Like, they don't know how to finish. You cannot say that about SuperMassive. They get ahead, they will finish the game. And Kira, look at the poke damage out from Achu. He's already down to a 3rd health, and because he can't get in range of the minions, he can't sustain himself. It's Sivir who's the one who has to clear out the minions from range. If they can put him in sideline, great, but he can't really do anything against Faldrin. We've seen that, so they have to send Smurf instead. And Vladimir, when he's on the behind, he's just not in good shape.
Smurf's also their engage tool.
Yeah. And Smurf,
Speaking of,
well, he's not really dying. He is very tanky, but those aren't 2 big damage dealers. Licrit looking for someone to follow him after cutting off one escape route, but Achu's probably just going to walk down.
I don't know if Achu
Whoa,
knows that.
Okay, that's the flash being used. And Faldrin following up onto Smurf now, but just going to get this chunk damage down. The tower's already low.
They're just stalling. Check out Naru on the bottom side. They're utilizing Baron in all 3 lanes, and it's just ripping Hard Random across the map. One of the TPs are down, and Kira now dead.
What an ultimate out from Stomage. Really been on point this game with the explosive cast. Another one onto Kira. Now the middle turret goes down. Here's the TP into the bottom lane from Faldrin. Trying to protect Naru, I think, but True Shot Barrage will chunk him out. And was that a kill? I think Archie picked something up. Now they're going on to the inhibitor.
They traded 1 for 1, but the big thing is they traded 1 for 1 with the primary wave clear. Sivir is down. Look at the chip damage on that turret. That's going to be 2 inhibs for free.
Naru gave his life to allow his team to pick up that tower and this inhib. 2 inhibs down. Supermassive, they can just back away happy now. They got everything they really came for. And they have so much gold right now. 7,000 gold advances. They just need to spend that and get back to base because they don't really want to fight right now when they have so much gold accumulated just lying around.
Yeah, just get the dragon, just reset and work towards the one lane that has already been set up by Thaldrin as well for success. They even have vision up there if they want to work near it. There is just absolute dominance and control displayed by SuperMassive around the entirety of Summoner's Rift right now in game number 3.
Yeah, really play like a different team when they're ahead. They just know exactly what to do. Every single beat is planned out. And they do it so quickly as well. There's no hesitation. It's just like 151.
Yeah.
Let's go. And then they just execute it.
And they make you play to the beat of their drum as well, right? Like it's their tempo that they put in place that you have to respond to.
Hard random on the back foot. This is still a best of 5, so there are plenty of games to go. But it's Vladimir pick. Well, speaking of the Vladimir, Kira's going to have to make a hasty retreat as Thaldrin finds him. I guess the Time Winder will back away. But it does really well, and it can do really badly as well. And this is not the reason why they've lost this game. It's definitely been a team thing, but yeah, Vladimir is not consistently good pick.
The thing that's really concerning for me, obviously, like the Echo, you can easily say, okay, Echo's won both times he's appeared in the series, ban that champion. But Gragas, like, Stomaged taking the Gragas into the Graves, or historically we see just Graves run away with this, and the fact that they're not afraid to give stay hosts the Graves, they know that they can beat it, opens up their draft phenomenally because they don't have to target ban that, and so they can continue to put Kira on the back foot if they look to go that direction and continue kind of that mid lane trend.
I will still bring it back to the Echo though, because what made the Vladimir good last game was because the Lulu was the one having to deal with him. No one could 1v1 the Vladimir. This time around, Echo's got solo kills now in that 1v1 matchup. Like, not many champions are capable of doing that to a Vladimir late game. Echo's probably one of the very few that can.
But also in this game as well, there was a lot of unfortunate fights that happened because it looked like it would be good for hard round. They group up, they have Sivir and Maokai, you just run at them, and Vladimir's there to deal the damage. You can have the 2 TPs for flanks, but they were never far enough ahead in terms of the game and also vision and setting up those flanks and pressure that they could really utilize that composition, even though it looked so good on paper. Dumbledore is going to be knocking away that Graves, so it gives them a bit more time to put some damage on the tower.
They have to strike within the next 30 seconds. They've got waves coming in, but their creep waves have just spawned on their Nexus tower, but the next super creep wave will start to chip damage away there. So look for Smurf. He has to pull the trigger now. This is kind of the last big fight that Hard Random have left in them.
Yeah, super crepes, delicious. And Naru, he's still seething away. Just all this poke damage onto Hard Random. Smurf is trying to be the front line that they need. Miracle,
it's gotta
great
go.
Spell shield, but this tower, it's so low, but Liquid's already chunked, and Smurf tries to go in. That's not the engage that you want, and is now being knocked into the team. Here, I'll engage for you. Liquid, he's gonna try and back away with a Maokai in his belly, and now that Stomage is following up, he's looking for the kill. Liquid goes down, looking for the follow-up from Naru as well. Kira goes into the Sanguine pool, and they go underneath the Nexus towers. That's a kill onto Kira, and now SuperMassive are just all over Hard Ran. What's Smurf gonna do? Absolutely nothing. Miracle gets chunked back to the fountain, and then his ally will also drop. This is going to be, if nothing else, the clean ace and the game. SuperMassive open up the base and find game 3, 2-1 over to SuperMassive.
Clinical from SuperMassive. We talk about this all the time. They're one of the most punishing teams when they're ahead. They don't drop a beat. We go back to the Echo pick. You can't give them that champion.
Yeah, honestly, that was played really well across the board, but for what it's worth, the unsung hero of this team in Archu has actually stepped up to the plate, and he's been the defining factor in game number 3.
I really think so too, and yeah, I mean the Echo in the last game at least was more of like a mascot because it was Liquid going ham, but in this game, yeah, was a real problem with for them because of the Vladimir, because he could do them late game.
Yeah, and it comes back to what Rusty was saying, the fact that the lane assignment that they had an answer to keep Kira down when Vladimir started to get online, and it opened up so much space for Chu to just go crazy. Again, like, Echo's super sticky, and you always think about Maokai as the big zoning champion, but Echo is just running at you, setting out his parallel convergence. He's going to do the exact same thing, but he's going to bring a damage threat to it.
Yeah. he can actually kill you. Something the Poppy, probably the closest threat towards doing that, can do. And guess what? They had both of them anyway. So there was no real options available here for hard random. The Vladimir is a good niche pick to have, but it should have very strict conditions with which you pick the Vladimir. You can't just recklessly go in and take it.
Yeah, because this time they actually had a choice over it. Because last game it was just like, well, this is the only champion you really pick. They consciously chose to pick that one up. And yeah, the Poppy is a great point as well, because looking at Dumbledore, she's one of the only supports who actively goes and says, pick me Poppy here. And they picked it on second rotation. So really denied a lot of the resources coming out from hard random in the game. But we're going to send it over to the analyst desk to break down that game.
Thank you very much. And with that, SuperMassive bring themselves up 2-1 with potentially one game to go into winning the IWCI Invitational and, of course, pushing themselves to MSI. Once again, joined on the desk by Carbon and Soul Strikes. And it just feels like the SuperMassive games, when they win, are very fast. That was a short affair.
They're a very punishing team.
Yep.
And we've been saying that for a few days now. They know exactly what to do when they're ahead, and as soon as you make a mistake, they'll punish you for it.
Yeah.
I think the big thing here is the blue side.
Yeah, and when they got the Baron, they had all 3 lanes pushing. They capitalized. They just know how to use this Baron buff. They got the top second tier tower, but the Lissandra was bot and chipping the bot tower down. And the mid tower was also under the siege, and they just don't. Hard random just didn't have the answer for it.
I mean, so what happened after that? Because obviously, there's a bit more game to play from them. We didn't just get to Baron and a push happening, just because. But again, it was quite a short game. I feel like we could look at drafting again maybe, but it was, again, I feel like SuperMassive are starting to fire on all lanes now. Because, it's not just like Namaru and maybe Thaldra on something like Echo really doing damage.
Yeah, I think that's true. I do think at the same time that the draft has a lot to do with that. I think when they get their good champs, they play really well, but as we saw in the last game, when hard random get their good champs, they also play very well. I think there are a number of draft issues here, but I think the biggest thing was, and I think Frost really hit the nail on the head there, and that is that Echo being able to hold Vlad. When Liss went to the Vlad lane, Liss got soloed very quickly. When Echo goes to the Vlad lane, Vlad can't do anything anymore. He's completely nullified, and that allows Achu to really open up in team fights, and he had an amazing performance.
Yeah, just like what Carbon said, Achu played amazing in game today, and he just showed that Israel, he probably did most damage in his team, just went off.
And that's the thing we're kind of maybe wondering, is another player going to really step up here and have a big game? Achu actually does have a big one. Lucian gets banned away from him. He takes the Ezreal, which is sort of what we expect, but it's crazy to see an AD carry actually finally carry, because I haven't done it that much this tournament.
Not at all. And I mean, even when you said that before, I said, it's probably not going to happen. But I don't blame them for not doing it. But he really did. He really thought, okay, well, this game is on me, boys, because we have the Liss mid, not much damage. We have Gragas jungle again, not much damage. So really, they were running the Ezreal as the main carry, and he absolutely did.
Yeah, and if he went for the Kalista, then he would have liked that poke damage. But having that Ezreal just do so much damage through the poke, and just stepping up Achu and doing what ADC are known for, AD carry.
I think another thing to point out as well is you look at the jungle matchup, it's twice now we've seen Gragas into Graves. Yes, Steos is getting Graves, he's playing relatively well on it, but it feels like SuperMassive are happy to give him the pick now.
I feel like he's playing more than relatively well.
Yeah.
I mean, he soloed him in this game. In the last game, he was almost double his CS. The Gragas into Graves matchup isn't good, and the Gragas is getting destroyed every time during the actual jungle phase. But because Dark Passage's lanes are winning, or at least their top and bot lane, in both the Gragas games that they won, both the side lanes won. And so the Gragas is good as an initiation tool. Gragas, he's got some amazing ults, great pick. Great explosive casks for the picks. He's not even setting it up with the E-Flash. Sometimes he just throws the cask and he just gets them. So he's playing very well outside of the jungle phase, but he's absolutely losing the jungle, no doubt in my mind.
It's just his team, Steos, he's playing phenomenally on his Graves, but it's his team just not supporting him and just not letting him go into their full mode.
At the same time, when you play Graves, you're not really supporting your team either.
Yeah,
so.
True.
Well, it certainly is a team game, and hard random. I think I lost their teamwork somewhere along. We'll see if they can find it, though, because they are going to need it with the backs against the wall. We'll return for Game 4 just after this break. Don't go too far away.